There are few bonds stronger than those of family. The forces that flow through a group of people united by heredity or marriage can shape the future, change the present, and in at least one case, can even revive the past. Willie Hawkins was only 7 years old when his family moved for the 10th time. He didn't understand why his family was always moving from one tenement to another. But jobs were hard to come by in those days on Chicago's South Side, and Willie's dad had little choice but to go wherever he could find work. Once the family moved into their new apartment, Willie's mother also took a job nearby, leaving Willie to spend a lot of time alone with his grandmother. To most grown-ups, one neighborhood might be just about like any other, but to a 7-year-old, an undiscovered city block could be very frightening. Willie's grandmother had discovered a way to dispel his fears.
Okay, so we're ready. We're gonna see what it says. Okay, my magic ring tells me that you'll find new friends if you explore that alley up there. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's go.
The game revolved around a ring that Willie and his grandmother pretended had magic powers. The ring, they imagined, could point the way to a safe neighborhood and could locate new friends for young Willie.
New friends. There it is.
The magic ring was right.
See, I told you. Now, I'm gonna go to the market and I'll pick you up on my way back.
Are you gonna leave me?
Just for a little while. What's the matter?
I'm a little scared.
Oh, Willie, there's no need to be scared. I'll come back.
You promise?
I promise.
Of course, the real magic was in the courage and love Willie learned from his grandmother. When Willie's grandmother unexpectedly died, the young boy was left devastated. And for much of the time afterward, he was left alone. Willie had never before encountered so deep and permanent a loss. He could not believe that the times he and his grandmother had shared were all over. Even the ring with which they had imagined so many adventures was forever lost. As the years passed, Willie's parents managed to make more time to spend with their son and labored to help him through high school and then through college.
Good morning, Mr. Hawkins.
Good morning, Rachel. Any messages?
Certainly, sir.
By and by, Willie Hawkins rose to the position of chief building inspector for the south quarter of the city. Now a full-grown man with a wife and family, Willie Hawkins was respected and admired by all who knew him. And one trait for which he was particularly well-liked was his devotion to his parents and to the grandmother he had lost so many years before. The first inspection of the day was to be in the very same building where Willie had been living when his grandmother died. So it was no surprise that he felt her presence especially strongly that morning. but he had no suspicion of just how close his grandmother really was. Even in its dilapidated condition, the old building still evoked many memories of Willie's childhood. In fact, for a moment, the apartment seemed to him to be exactly as it was when he had lived there with his parents and his grandmother. This illusion proved to be a cruel deception, for in fact, the room was on the verge of total collapse. Suddenly, the image of the old apartment gave way to the terrible reality. The force of impact instantly broke several of Willie's ribs and crushed part of his lungs. Unable to move or cry out, Willie lay helplessly, slowly dying in a part of town where nobody would come to his aid. Hours passed. Then, several blocks away, a police officer on routine patrol encountered a woman desperately calling for help.
Yes, it's my grandson. He needs help. Please hurry.
You mean your son?
No, my grandson.
Right. Where to?
105th and Sturtevant.
I didn't think anybody still lived in that
Can we
area.
please hurry?
Officer Polcheski was surprised that such a young woman would have a grandchild, but he was not as concerned with that as he was with rushing to the boy's aid.
Stay in the car. Jeez!
He's in there,
But you were just...
in the basement.
Hey. Hey, friend. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Seeing that Willie's injuries were indeed very serious, Officer Polcheski instantly called for an ambulance.
Dispatch, this is 311. I have
Without
a 10:30
immediate medical care,
10:30
Willie Hawkins would be dead within the hour.
Come on, Betty. Stay with me.
But an ambulance soon arrived at the house on Sturtevant Street. The trained emergency medical technicians quickly stabilized Willie's condition enough for him to be moved. Now, it seemed Willie Hawkins would survive his accident after all. While Officer Polcheski made his report of the incident, something unusual caught his eye. He assumed the curious ring that he had found on the passenger seat of the police cruiser must have been the property of the lady who had recently sat there, the lady who had saved Willie Hawkins' life. Only then did Polcheski realize that the lady had vanished not long after showing him where to find Willie. A few days later, Officer Polcheski checked in on the man he had helped rescue. His curiosity about the strange nature of Willie's rescue had nagged at him night and day.
You saved my life, thank you.
Oh, don't thank me. Thank your grandmother.
My grandmother? What are you talking about?
Well, this woman, she flagged me down and said her grandson was in trouble. Yeah, I thought it seemed a little strange because she didn't look old enough to be a grandmother, but when we got there, she told me to go inside, even told me you were in the basement.
That's impossible. First of all, when I went to that building, I was by myself, and And no one knew I was in the basement. And secondly, my grandmother died 30 years ago.
Who knows? There's a lot of strange people in this town. Yeah, I'm just glad you're all right. Oh, by the way, I found this on the car seat where she was sitting. It must have belonged to her. Are you all right?
This ring, it belonged to my grandmother. She said she'd come back.
Willie's grandmother had always looked after him, and later, when he needed help the most, she once again came to his rescue, even overcoming the ultimate obstacle and bringing about one more of Willie's many adventures with Grandma.
My mother died just from my accident. But, there she was, looking down on me and giving me that strength. It's hard to explain, but she came back to help me. And I really, truly believe I wouldn't be alive today without her. And there's no doubt in my mind about that.